Everybody, thank you for tuning in. It is the Matt Ramage Show. I am Matt Ramage. There's no cool way to say that, by the way. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking it out, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or listening on the podcast. I appreciate it. A big shout out to Quick Trip sponsoring the show. I did have something worked out that I was going to say. Quick Trip has a lot of cool stuff happening. I'll remember to get it ready next time. But if you're going to go to Quick Trip, I will say this right now: Pizza Puffs are my number one at Quick Trip. And I think that's how I should lead off every show, letting everyone know what my current number one is at Quick Trip. Used to be the old cheeseburger. Then it was like the sourdough grilled ham and Swiss. Right now, I'm rocking with the Pizza Puffs. Anyways, I got my guy Ron with me today. What is up, Ron? How you doing, bro? How's it going?
Good, man.
What is it? What day is it?
Thursday. Yeah, I don't even know. Thursday night.
It was feeling like a Monday. I don't know, because maybe today sucked. I don't know what happened, but it was kind of feeling like a Monday. These days all spreading together. But thanks for joining me, Ron, and everyone who might tune in, who maybe not, who knows? We'll find out. But there's not a lot of stuff like going on Packer wise. Like this is like my least. I like this time of the season the least of all 365 days. Like this day specifically. No, but like this time, like before the draft, I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is all you hear is like you get some guys getting traded and stuff from other teams, and you get the guy gets picked up by Tampa Bay. Like, who cares, right? Like, unless somebody real big comes to your team, it's just wait to the draft, right? There's nothing really going on.
That's kind of what it is. Like you're just waiting for draft, especially like. For Packer fans, like we always have some drama going on in the offseason. Like we got the Aaron Rodgers stuff, and like this year's no different. And this year is actually like the, it's the big one. But but everyone just wait. Like Jets fans are getting feisty. I don't know if you're on Twitter, but like Jets fans and Packer fans, it's like a war over there. I'm kind of staying out of it. I'm a big trash talker, but I don't talk trash to the Jets because. I mean, they haven't won a Super Bowl since like black and white TV days. You know what I mean? Like they watched that Super Bowl, like their grandparents did on that TV, on that black and white TV. You know, the knob. They had the tinfoil yet on that thing. So I'm not gonna talk trash about them. But like they've been getting feisty. Like they've been going to war, and I respect it a little bit, just like kind of like Viking fans. Because, like, it's easy for me to talk trash a little bit. You know, a Patriots fan, real easy for a Patriot fan to talk trash. Like, Patriot fan talk trash to me, I don't really have a lot to say to it because I'm like, anyway, like, what do you say?
Yeah.
But, like, if you are a Vikings fan or, like, a Jets fan talking trash, I feel like I got to respect it because, like, it's like you're going to a gunfight with a knife, you know what I mean? But you're still in there thrashing that thing. You're trying your best, but I don't think it's going to work out for you in the end. But what are your thoughts? Like, have you seen this little drama between the Jets fans and Packer fans?
I mean, just a little bit. I just started my Twitter account over there, Wrong Talk Sports at Twitter, and I've been kind of watching y'all follow the Packers, and you kind of follow, some of the big names in the industry, Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport and those guys. I mean, say what you want about them, but usually a lot of the news for the NFL goes through one of those two guys. They've got all the sources and whatever, but yeah, the Jets are just angry because I think that they want to get it over with so they can just go buy their number 12 Aaron Rodgers jersey. Joe Namath already says that he'll let Rodgers wear it. I'm not sure if it's retired or not, but maybe it is.
It is, but but he gave permission, so like he could if he wanted to.
Yeah, so that's what they just want, right? Like I think Jets fans right now, they want to show up to the draft in Kansas City and put on their Aaron Rodgers number 12 Jets jersey and
be like,
talk
this
about
is
how
our year, baby.
Everybody's gonna do it. This is gonna be great, and everybody's running around, and it's like, okay, like I think the Jets could win their division next year if Rodgers goes there, and I think they're I think they think so too, and I think that's what the problem is now. They just want us to give them up for peanuts, though, and I give the Packers front office a lot of credit for not just saying, "Hey, we're not going to give them away for a 4th round pick," right? Like, you know.
This is not Brett Favre, bro. And
No.
that's not even knocking Brett Favre, you know, whatever. But this, it's not even about that because, like, with the Brett Favre situation, they offered him $20 million to just not play. They're like, we'll give you $20 million and you'd be like the Packers spokesman and you'd like go around and shake hands and do things with the fans and whatever else that they had. And he was like, no. So, like, when they traded him, they were like, just whatever, let's get out of this thing. Like, that was hardcore. Like, the Brett Favre situation is not like it's very similar to the Aaron Rodgers situation, but it's a little different too. Like, that was a beast. And with this situation, like they're saying is we're not going to get fleeced. Like, I don't know the details because the people are saying, well, they want this and they want that, and the Jets are doing this. There's so many stories going on. I don't know what's true. Like, my head gets, I get confused easily, Ron. So like I don't even care about all that, but like the Packers shouldn't get fleeced. The Jets are gonna do the thing, but the Jets seem incompetent to me. Like, they were saying, like, they had a deal out. I saw one story. They had a deal out, but when Rodgers said he was 90% retired, that kind of scared him. Which I get that part. I get that. Yeah. I think that the whole Aaron Rodgers, because people are talking about like when Rodgers was in the darkness retreat. That, the Packers, before that, I saw Pat McAfee talking about this. Before he went to the darkness retreat, Packers were like, just take your time. We're over here chilling. We're waiting on you. You know what I mean? Let's have a good time. And then he went to darkness retreat. When he came out, it was different. But then he said when he went into the darkness retreat, he was 90% retired. Maybe the Packers caught that vibe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if he was feeling he's 90% retired, maybe in those exit interviews, the Packers got that same vibe. And that's why they made the decision, like, hey, we're just going to, we're going to shop him around or whatever. But, like, the whole thing, like, with this thing, people, like, taking sides, like, oh, the front office is the bad guy, or other people, like Aaron Rodgers is a bad person. Like, I think, dude, sometimes you just need a split. You know what I mean? Like, even, you remember Mike and Mike in the Morning?
Oh, yeah.
That was
Golick and
I used to do a paper route, like on a side mission, you know what I mean? I called it a side mission to make it sound more exciting, but it was extra money for Christmas. But I used to do a paper route, and I listened to Mike and Mike in the Morning the whole time. And I was like, these guys are best friends. Turns out they weren't. They split. Things happen.
Huge enemies, actually.
Oh, yeah, they were like the best radio show. Like, they were the radio show for sports. And like, they split, anyone can split. It doesn't have to be like, screw that person. I mean, I think they might be like, I don't know, behind closed doors, who knows? But I'm just saying, like, you don't have to like pick sides. It's like, it is what it is. The Packers and Aaron Rodgers are splitting up. You know what I mean? Mom and dad don't love each other no more.
Right. Yeah. And again, like,
they're still friends though.
Gutekunst probably said, I think he said something along the lines, and again, I think that they're both kind of dripping this story out, right? Like, there'll be a little bit, Rodgers will kind of hint at something, and then the Packers front off, either Murphy or Gutekunst, or they'll kind of drip something out, and then they'll say, oh, well, we couldn't get a hold of him in his darkness retreat, or Rodgers will say, oh, well, I was 90%, like, it just kind of feels like they're just doing this little cat and mouse game. I saw a report today that Rodgers told the Jets front office to not to rush to sign a deal. And, it's like everybody, I think, knows that this is coming at some point. Green Bay doesn't want to just give him away for nothing, obviously. His salary is pretty expensive. There's going to be some part of that's going to come into play here too. And again, I think Rodgers is under the impression that the Packers front office is like, hey, Jordan Love is here. He's coming to the OTAs. He's working out with these guys. He's here to be here for the whole season. Like, he's going to be able to run that playbook again. He's going to know what's going on. He's going to get the chemistry with these young receivers. When we draft guys, like, I personally think we're probably going to pick up a tight end somewhere in the draft. He's going to start developing chemistry with those guys. And that's what you need a young team, regardless of how, that's only going to make the team better. I don't think Rodgers, and again, I get the veterans that don't show up to OTAs. I get that football is bad on your body. Like, a lot of guys, especially the guys in the trenches, right? Your offensive lineman, defensive ends, those guys, they take a beating, right? So I get that you don't necessarily want those guys in there, but the way the offense runs, it's all based on timing. It's all based on feel and how comfortable you are with these people. And Rodgers never really got comfortable with those guys, the new guys, Watson or Doubs, till the end of the season, really. And it showed when he was able to late in the year, those guys had started really coming on.
Yeah.
You know, but
no, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like,
oh, go ahead.
excuse me, but like early on in Aaron Rodgers' career, like just like Jordan Love's doing now, like he'd work out with the receivers that they'd have that going on. But I feel like a lot of veteran receiver or quarterbacks kind of do that, where they kind of judge apart. But I still,
Sure.
I do think that like Rodgers was working out with Alan Lazard, and people are like, oh, how come he never did that before? But I think he was doing that probably every year. People didn't know what, like with certain guys, he wasn't OTAs, and I do think that him not being OTAs did hurt the team. I don't think there's a lot into it usually because they're in shorts, they're throwing balls around, they're like, hey, how's the family? What's up? What's going on? But when you have two rookie receivers who are going to be a big part of the team, I think that's a little different. But like I also say, like, what I work at Cheese Factory, so what the hell do I know? But like, I think that like it would have been good, but I think he did a lot of years. But I think in the later years, kind of like we don't need that as much. Like we're gonna get together, we're gonna do our thing. But with these, when you're having like young wide receivers who are actually playing, you know, they're kind of a focal point, like they're expected to be that dude type of player. Then you need that, and like. Those guys being with Jordan Love, like same thing with Aaron Rodgers, like he was with Jordy Nelson when he was the backup. Jordy wasn't the main guy. Like a lot of those guys, like they got relationships because they weren't playing or as much. Like it was a backup quarterback and a receiver who's on once in a while, but he's not really getting the action. They like form like a friendship, a kind of a bond. So when they are the starters, they are the dudes. Like I think that like propels him. So like Jordan Love, I think that he'll have some success like with these guys. Like the first year, like I don't expect like greatness. Like people keep telling me like, oh, you think Jordan Love's gonna be this now? Like I never said I thought he was gonna be anything. Like I don't think he's gonna be bad. I don't think he's gonna be good. Like I don't think that people know. I lean towards that he's gonna be good just because I think that they're gonna put him in favorable like situations, like run the ball.
Sure.
You know. Hopefully like we don't get any like injuries to wide receiver position because there's not a lot to go there. But like I feel like those guys that they got, if the game plan, like there's going to be struggles. There's going to be like a first year quarterback, 9 times out of 10 struggles. Like sometimes they don't. Sometimes like everyone points to like this player and that player did this, but like Patrick Mahomes, like when he got that, not comparing Patrick Mahomes to Jordan Love at all, but like Chiefs fans didn't like that. They had Alex Smith. Like there's tweets, like you can go back on Twitter and like search Patrick Mahomes, and if you search far enough, you will find where Chiefs fans were heated. And like I'm saying though, I'm not comparing Patrick Mahomes to Jordan Love. I'm just saying that people don't know until they hit the field. Like they thought he was. They didn't want him. A lot of them didn't, and then he ended up being great. And now they're all wearing his jerseys.
Yeah,
and autograph. Yeah, but like I'm not saying that Jordan Love is going to be that, but like we don't know good or bad. Like we just don't know. And like I think the people who are just like saying there's no chance, like he sucks, especially Packer fans, it's just weird to me because like you just don't know. Like it's not like he played 6 games, he started 6 games. Like this is like he played in a couple games. You know, one game people say was trash. One game people say, hey, I like what he did over there. It to me, neither mean a whole lot. You know, they kind of scratch each other out or whatever. And like we'll just have to wait and see like what this dude does. But what do you think, Jordan Love? All right, good or bad?
I'll tell you what. Like, so I'm gonna go back to that Philly game where he came in and we were pretty much blown out. Right, like the game was kind of over, and Philly kind of played a soft D, but they weren't playing like a prevent. And he kind of went right down the field and hit Watson for that touchdown. That was, I think, Watson one of his first games back. You know, from getting off the injury. And I really like the way that he ran the offense. Like, again, it was in garbage time. You could say that, but, you know, like Kirk Cousins gets all these garbage time stats and everybody talks about how great he is, right? Like, oh, okay. I really liked how he handled the offense. And people forget, like, the Chiefs game, Mason Crosby missed those 2 field goals. And granted, the Chiefs weren't playing very well that time, but your first game in the NFL is at Arrowhead. And we ended up losing, I think, by 6. But he went down there, and I'm like, hey, you know, we might have something here. And I remember, I think it was Tauscher the next day kind of when he's like, oh, I kind of want to see a little bit more. Or maybe it's just Saturday. I can't remember. But he's talking. He said, I kind of want to see a little more out of Jordan Love. And I kind of thought, you know, he'd come out and tear it up and stuff. And I just kind of said, well, no, I don't think. I think the expectations were, especially because that was the year everything was shut down. He didn't get OTAs. He barely got any preseason. You know, he's on his tablet looking at the playbook. I think I've seen enough growth out of him where I think that, hey, he's got some talent and he can extend plays. He can run the ball. He's 6'5" too. That's another thing. He's not going to get blown up by a safety. I think that the other thing he's going to do this year is actually run the offense LaFleur wants to run. That's the other thing, because I know there was a lot of talk last year about Rodgers checking out of runs and on third and run, 3rd and 4 situations, throwing down the field and missing the guys. And that was one of the most frustrating parts of the offense for me last year. And I know Rodgers is smart and he understands the matchups and everything. So like, I'm not going to say he made wrong decisions or anything. But I think Jordan Love's not going to be doing that, right? Like, he doesn't have that kind of clout right now. He's a third-year guy. LaFleur is going to tell him, hey, let's go out there. If you see something, here's the plays you can check into, but I'm not giving you 50 plays that you can check into. You're not going to be calling go routes on these plays on 3rd and 4. And
3rd and 1.
It was. I mean, how frustrating was that though? Because our running game was underutilized last year, and it was good. I mean, even week 1 against the Vikings, they abandoned it right after the first quarter, and it's like, guys, that's where they're weak. Run them down.
And that's the thing, like, with the offense, like I say, I'll always say, is like, I love Aaron Rodgers, and I'll love Aaron Rodgers forever, and I ain't ever gonna shade Aaron Rodgers. But like, the offense seemed like that it didn't have an identity, like, to me, watching at home, drinking beers, you know what I mean? Through my beer goggles.
Yeah,
so, like, it's not like I know it all, but it seemed like they didn't have an identity. Like, they'd be good at running the ball at one point, and then they wouldn't run it. And like, your 3rd and 1, you're throwing it, but it's covered and it's out. And like, it just wasn't like an offense that is built for success. Like, yeah, any game, like, they can go off. But like, any game, you also know, like, they could just throw out a dud and run the ball like a few times, even though they're averaging 4 or 5 yards a carry.
Right.
And then like, they're just like audibling out, and then all the types of crazy stuff. And I'm not going to act like I'm some offensive guru. I'm just saying, is like, I don't think the offense was as good as it could have been. And to your point, like, Jordan Love is going to run the LaFleur offense. The offense that LaFleur has built. The reason he was hired as coach. Like, you're this guy. You're supposed to have this brain, like all the other people that came from where you came from, as far as like coaching tree goes. And you're going to be this dude, but like, Aaron, you have a Hall of Fame quarterback. Obviously, you're not going to restrict him, like, hey, you got to do this, and this is only it. So like, you're going to give him some leeway, but that leeway might turn into like 2 type of offensive minds kind of colliding. So they're not really, a team. It's more like 2 collective minds trying to get it done. And a lot of times that works, because it did work, like, especially at first. But I think Jordan Love will be more in that offense, because like you said, he doesn't have the clout. He can't be like, I'm gonna do whatever I want out here. So like, they're gonna work it, they're gonna run the ball, take what the defense gives you. And I think, like, we'll see what happens with that. Like, but I think that's a good situation. Like, we'll see like what Matt LaFleur has. I love Matt LaFleur. I want him to get a little bit creative now. All right, we don't have Aaron Rodgers. We don't have, the Hall of Fame quarterback, because that's the thing. Like, when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, like, all right, there's no need for all this silliness. Just run the offense, like. But now I'd like to see them trick plays. I'd like to see Christian Watson on some reverses, maybe every now and again slang that thing down the field. You know what I mean? Like, open this thing up, open the offense. Matty LaFleur, like, get the brain workulating, you know what I mean? Get the creative processes going. Like, dude, Aaron Jones throwing touchdown passes, I like to see it. Jordan Love doing all types of crazy. I mean, I don't mean like go all crazy like you're a 1-win team and you're just gonna, but like, just get creative with it, like, not stupid. Don't be like the Colts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was brutal.
Don't get that.
Nobody
crazy.
wants to be the Colts.
No, but like, get creative. Like, Christian Watson, maybe like some reverse stuff. Maybe he throws it. Aaron Jones, maybe let him throw it every now and again. I'm not saying take the ball out of Jordan Love's hands, but like, I like that stuff. If I could do it on Madden, I would, but like, I'm not that good at that game. Whenever I tried some crazy stuff, like I even try like any type of like quarterback run, like, he's fumbled in that thing. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
They're not giving him a great rating in Madden yet. You got to earn your ratings in Madden.
Oh, yeah. First of all, the Packers playing in Madden is tough because you can't keep Rashawn Gary. Salary cap is screwed. They screwed that thing because, like, in real life, they can like push stuff back. They can do all types of maneuvering. And Madden is just straight salary. And You lose it. I'm not going to get into my whole Madden game because nobody cares. But I'm the Houston Texans, but I relocated them to Brooklyn, and now they're the Brooklyn Beats. All right,
Brooklyn Texans.
the Brooklyn Beats. That's what they are. And I have a good squad over there. I ain't gonna lie. I think I have like so many Packer players. Like I got Dobbs over there. I traded for him. I got all types. I got a lot. I got Preston Smith.
Oh yeah, I know you have him on.
Yeah, overpaid too.
Yeah,
I
he's your
don't
boy.
care. But anyways,
But
let's
yeah,
get back to real life. We'll get back to real life. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say like they. I think this year it won't be as high powered as offense as we've seen in the last years that are just based on how much we're going to throw the ball. But that doesn't mean we're not going to run people out and win these games. Like I think now we're going to go back to the old 2 yards in a cloud of dust type idea. Bring everybody in, suck everybody into the box. And then we have Dobbs and Watson have the speed to beat some of these guys when you have 8 people in the box.
Yeah.
One-on-one.
Yeah, like
they do.
They can both stay healthy next year. Like that's gonna be something. And I'm not saying that because like I don't think they're injury prone, but like if Packers luck, but if both these dudes can stay healthy for a full season, like that would be really interesting. Like to see this this offense, but also like other guys, But like I think this offense is good enough. But like with injuries, I feel like the offense isn't. They can't afford no injuries.
Yeah, we have a depth issue, but you know what? Like the nice thing about having a young team is that generally speaking, you're not going to get guys as banged up when they're younger, right?
Yeah.
You still have your injuries. You still have your Trey Lances going down. You have kind of stuff like that going on. But I think we're going to try to get some depth in the draft at some of these spots. And I think that's going to help us out in the long run. And again, like I talked about this a little bit yesterday, we're at a position now where we're kind of in a rebuild now, and I think we just have to accept it. But we've got some really good young talent on this team still on rookie deals. So if we use that talent well and we end up developing it, and that's another thing that the Packers do very well. Like remember you were talking about how Jordan Love has this chemistry with Watson because they were both playing together, on the second team for a little bit. And Aaron Rodgers had the same thing. Like, we're good at bringing guys up through the system, and we do draft players. Like Rashawn Gary is a perfect example, right? Like his first year, he got his feet wet. He was kind of, struggled a little bit, which happens, in the pros. Like, okay, you're going up against these big guys. But he earned all of his playing time. And now look at him. Now he's a guy that you can count on every down. Every single down, he's in every play.
Dude, and that's... Let's say like Rashawn Gary is a perfect example for so many things. Like even like fans thinking that they know what they're talking about. Because Rashawn Gary, a lot of people were like wasted pick. Like I heard that for like a whole year. Wasted pick from Packer fans and from haters. And then now he's like one of the premier guys. Like Rashawn Gary is like one of the like guys like on the cups of being like that dude. Like Rashawn Gary is so good at football, and he coming off an injury, like him coming back next year is going to be huge. Keeping him is going to be more huge. And Madden, not possible in real life. Brian, work your magic, bro.
Yeah, Brian, we need him.
Because like I'm glad that's why when I started talking about the Packers and started breaking it down, I remember I play Madden and I suck and I can't do it. I quit because the salary cap is hard. All right, you can't keep everybody. So Brian Gutekunst, I apologize for anything I might have said. Your job is not easy, and I appreciate you.
And we got guys like Jones taking he took a pay cut per se, but I think they rolled it out of his guaranteed money into they rolled it, I think, into like incentive bonuses and stuff. So like he's not necessarily taking a pay cut, and he's going to be a focal part of this offense. I expect to see a C on his jersey this year, being a captain of the offense. Like I'd be surprised if he doesn't get voted captain. I like everything about the guy. I follow him today. I saw that they were doing the Packer tailgate today. And yesterday, I know they were up in Superior, and I saw them take pictures with kids and stuff, and that's really cool that they go around to all parts of the state.
Dude, they're all over. I actually think they took a side mission, and I call it a side mission because it makes it sound. I like using the word, but they actually stopped off at I think it was some veterans or like some type of
Yes.
place like that. Haha Clinton Dix posted it on his Instagram. I think it's cool that Haha is back. Haha has
Yeah.
always been like cool, like with the Packers. And after he left, he did a lot of work at the Boys and Girls Club. And after he left, he was still doing that. He was still helping them get money to help them fund stuff. Like the Haha Foundation, like is ridiculous. Ha Clinton Dix is like he's just an awesome dude. And talking about that tailgate tour, like Aaron Jones, guys on his level don't usually do those things. And not because not because they're not good people, but because you do those things, and then it comes to a certain point in your career where like you still do stuff, but you don't have to do the tailgate stuff. You don't have to do the tour stuff. Like that's not something that he's expected to do. And then it's cool. Like the Packers seem to have just those good people, like on the field, but just off the field, like they're all good people. Like everyone that I've met, like through doing the podcast stuff, like Kenny Clark, like Preston Smith, Clinton Dix, like they're all like just really good people. Like they're just normal. Like Kenny Clark, I had him on my podcast one time, and he was like on his front porch. And like, he's just like, all right, let me go do this thing. And he's like, they're just regular people, and they're just good people. And I think the Packers are good at getting good people in the locker room that do great things in the community. I don't even mean to go off on that side mission there, but
you have to, right, in Green Bay, because you live in the community, right? Like you're there. It's not like you can go hide out in Minnetonka like the guys do over here, right? Like you can't. Like you go to the grocery store over there, you're at the grocery store, and everybody's going to recognize you because you're 7'2", like in your gym.
They didn't know, because I remember like being at Bay Beach in Green Bay. It's like a little amusement park we got here, but not really amusement park, but like whatever. It's kind of like a fair all the time in the summer, right? They got cool rides over there. But I remember us sitting there, and my kids were really young, and it was Corliss, and he had those tattoos on the back of his arm.
Yes. Yep, I remember.
And my kid noticed it, and he's like, "Oh, he plays for the Packers." Like he didn't know who it was, and then I think Kabir Bajbiamila was there. No, because I think that one was at a sporting goods store. I think Corliss, but Kabir Bajbiamila was at Bay Beach, and my kid recognized him, but he was with his kids, and I'm like, yeah, just don't say nothing because he's with his kids. But like, that's like if you live in Green Bay, like you run into them like once in a while, and like they're cool. Like I've never met
them bowling. You see them all hanging out.
Yeah, I've never met a player, whether before my podcast stuff or after, who have like not been cool. Like
I remember my stepsister. She used to live in Green Bay. They live in Park City, Utah now, but they used to live in Green Bay. And when she had her daughter, Donald Driver, lived in their neighborhood, and he had this little wussy dog that his wife had. He's walking this thing, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the baby!" He ran right in there, so they got pictures with him holding the brand new baby, and like it's stuff like that makes Green Bay unique in the sports world, right? It's not New York where you can go hide and you only go to like the top club. Yeah,
they're in like a tower, they're up there. And high rise.
And again, you get everything's security. You got your own private, limos and stuff, so you don't have to worry about parking. Like you get that in Minnesota here, you don't get that in Green Bay. Like Green Bay, it's like I remember we were driving back one time and we ran into like who was it? I can't remember who it was, but he had a Land Rover, and we were like driving like, okay, this guy is somebody over here, and I can't remember who we saw, but it was funny because you just see them out, just being out around the neighborhood.
I used to work at a car wash, like 3 blocks from Lambeau Field, PDQ car wash over on Oneida, and every Tuesday all the players would come in. Like Ahman Green, Gilbert Brown, Brett Favre's wife was in there a couple times. I met her. Like Gilbert Brown was like so awesome. But I remember Ahmad Carroll. Do you remember Ahmad Carroll? This is one of my favorite stories from my car wash days, because like he was like the most cocky, like he had a 6'4" Impala straight out of a Dr. Dre music video. And like he was like just living his life. But I was like, dude, you're not that good.
It's funny how that happens,
because I didn't like him, like as not as a person, but as a player. But like then I met him, and I was like, he's kind of a dick. Like that's just what it is. I was like, dude, do you know Gilbert Brown? Gilbert Brown was like at that time that dude. Like he was like. He had Gilbert Brown burgers at local restaurants, and he would come in and he would be like, he would talk to anyone. He would sign stuff. Like he was Like he was like a car collector, like he had or a car lover for sure. He had multiple cars. Like he was just, but he was so cool. So like when it's like Ahmad Carroll, who they drafted,
Yeah.
he could run fast. Like, and then he would come in and just be like mean, like, you know, kind of rude to people. Screw that guy. But anyways,
Yeah. Yep.
no, but like, so what are your expectations? Like we talked about offense, you know, Jordan Love and all this stuff. Let's talk about the defense. What do you think that this defense is capable of this year? You think they, because this defense ideally is going to keep them in a lot of games, because like even if like, you know, those teams that have like a new quarterback to kind of like, you expect that defense kind of keep in some games, because you're either going to win or lose probably a lot of close games, because they're going to be a lot of close games next year.
Yeah.
You would think, unless, you know, it's either really good or really bad. You know what I mean?
So,
so what are you thinking about the defense?
So I talked a little bit about this too. The Joe Barry thing, it's really hard to grade him last year, because it seemed like the first 12 weeks he couldn't get out of his own way, right? And they turned it on later in the year when they needed to, right? Like they were in these games enough. And he found out that, oh, hey, wait, Jair Alexander is that guy, right? I'm going to put him out there and I'll give him safety help a little bit over the top or whatever, but he's going to shut down Jefferson to where he's on the field crying and throwing his helmet, almost hitting the ref, and purple coming down the cheeks. He tackled me hard. And you're looking at him and you're like, you're a pro football player, bro. I'm sorry that, you know, you're getting owned and you're getting mad. You almost hit the ref with your helmet. You know, could have got kicked out of the game. And it's like, he's one of the premier receivers in the league, and Jair the whole week. And I remember when he was talking about it, I'm like, Jair's like, yeah, I'm that guy. And he was talking a little smack, which I love. And I said, okay, back it up. And he did, right? So we're going to be dependent on some of that talent. The Rashawn Garys of the world are going to have to be able to come out there and run that. Joe Barry, if he plays like he did, if they kind of have the same scheme that they had the last 4 weeks and they kind of play that way, I like our chances in a lot of games. If we get a defense that can hold people to 17 to 20 a game consistently, I do like our chances offensively. And again, I looked at our schedule and I'm like, you know, like I don't see us going 4-13 this year. Yeah. You know, I think that we're going to struggle a little bit early, but I think that this preseason, because we're so young, they're going to take it seriously. I do think that we'll be better prepared to come out and play the way we need to play. But again, I'm guessing we're probably going to pick up some parts in the draft on defense, you know, maybe another linebacker, probably a safety, somewhere in there.
Who do you think they take in the first round? Or like what position do you think they're going after? I don't know anything about the draft. Like,
you know, a lot of people have us taking a wide receiver. The kid out of Ohio State, I think, is one I've seen a few times. I haven't, you know, it's getting closer, so I'll probably start looking. But a tight end, if they have a guy that they come in right away and I think this year we're going to try to draft somebody that could come and contribute right away. So if there's a tight end or a wide receiver we feel like is going to come in there, I think that's the way we go in the first round, because that gives us a decent core of 3 wide receivers or 3 targets that we can hit in the air, right? You're not going to be able to cover all 3 of them. And then you still have Aaron Jones or even A.J. Dillon coming out of the backfield. I was really impressed last year how A.J. Dillon became catching the ball. And he's a beast to try to tackle there. That guy's quads is bigger than most people, you know, most people's bodies. So
my gut's bigger.
Well, okay, fine, but he's still a beast. So I think I like to see him out there. And I think that they're going to be part of the offense. We're going to be 60-40 run, 50-50 split, somewhere in there. And I think we're going to, you know, we could end up taking another tackle or something offensive line too. I don't think it'll be in the first round, but I kind of think our first three positions somewhere we'll do somewhere wide receiver, somewhere tight end, maybe a linebacker or offensive tackle if they find someone they like. I mean, we found good value in the draft as long as it's not the third round. Like, we should just trade our. You know what? You want Rodgers? Take our third round picks. We'll give you all the third round picks you want. You can have them. We're not going to do anything with them anyway.
Yeah, the first round pick. I saw a graphic today, like it was like ESPN or whoever made a graphic, and the Packers were on the list for being good in the first round. You know, they didn't mention the third round, but yeah, hopefully they get someone like I think a tight end would be huge. I think a tight end is like you know, it's like a security blanket. You know, I don't think
Yep.
that you can have enough of them. I think getting a nice young, especially like a guy that dude type of guy, which obviously they don't know. They hope, you know, they hope they're right, but like you need that dude type. If they could get that dude like a young George Kittle, I mean.
Oh well, yeah, I'd love to have that.
Yeah,
But you know,
like,
and
yeah, sign me up.
the tight ends too, like they the thing that the way our offense works, they open it up because they can be, if they're in there, you're not going to assume that it's a passing play, right? Because they
Yeah.
can block too, right?
Well,
So if you line up with two tight ends and you got guys that can catch the ball, like even Jaguar out there now, you
like
could
him.
look like you're in a run formation and go throw out to one of those guys and pick up chunk yardage, right?
Yeah.
So
and they did that with Tunyon where they kind of like worked him open. Like Tunyon
yeah,
didn't get like what it was a 10, 11 touchdowns, led the league in tight end touchdowns. He didn't get that because he's just so freaking fantastic, which I like Tunyon. I think he's a good player,
yeah,
great player. But like they worked him open. Like
right,
they knew what they were doing. It wasn't like he was just out there running amok, you know, just figuring
right.
it out. Like he was wide open that year. Then he got that injury or whatever. But yeah, I think a tight end would be huge for this offense. I'm getting excited, but I won't get fully excited until after the draft because like that's the thing with me. Like before the draft, I usually get quiet, but now I do like the podcast thing. I got to keep talking, but I don't know what to talk about because I really don't care. Like about the draft, like I don't care. Like I care, but like I don't care enough to want to like talk about it all the time. First of all, I don't like talking about stuff I don't know what I'm talking about, and I have no idea. So I read what Andy Herman talks about, you know, the smart people, but yeah, like I don't know, like we'll see. We're gonna find out real quick.
Well, and the funny part about the guys that talk about the draft, your Mel Kipers and those guys that are all out there, Jesse Palmer, they don't know either.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't know.
that's why they
Yeah,
have 57 mock drafts and then they're all wrong. You know?
Well, they know more than me, but yeah, but nobody knows for sure. Because like if people have those mock drafts, it's like a trade in the second pick and then mock, whoop, it's gone. It's
Right.
It's 5Gs. No, but like there's
Yeah.
gonna be I think this next little bit, this draft's gonna be interesting because I think that's when a trade goes down right around draft time. I think it's gonna go into the last minute. It's gonna be like it's gonna be a thing. I'll probably be live for that. I'm gonna jump on
I thought about doing a live
yeah,
for the draft.
I'll probably do a live for the pick. I'm gonna be on Cheesehead TV. They have a draft like roundtable type of thing where they have a bunch of people on. I'm gonna jump on that, but I won't be on it the whole night. But for the Packers pick, I might just jump on just to see like, or maybe like the whole night. Who knows? I don't even know what I'm gonna do yet. Maybe we'll go live together. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. I'm definitely going to be watching the draft, and like I said, I actually like the first 2 days of the draft because you get your first 3 rounds, and that really it really shows as a fan, it shows where your team's going, right? Like it shows what you want to do. Where are we trying to go here? You know, and again, the Packers have been draft heavy as far as defense over these last bunch of years, and I think we've got a good core coming together and starting to play around. And, you know, we're going to need that defense to help us out this year. I really hope Joe Barry's learned what happened last year.
On point.
Yeah.
Because the Joe Barry gets a lot of criticism, and it's due.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, he's been good. Like, the defense has been good. Because, like, as the defense goes, like, he's judged. Like if they're good,
yes.
Because like people could be like, "Oh, this defense isn't doing it." You know, the scheme doesn't that. Rashawn Gary gets a couple sacks. Preston Smith gets one. They get Jair gets a pick 6. Oh, Joe Barry's a genius. Even though the players just balled out that day, you know what I mean? Ball might have got tipped, whatever. That's why defensive coordinator. But like their job is to put them in the right situations to make those plays.
Yeah,
and sometimes but at that same point when people are judging Joe Barry and talking trash or any defensive coordinator, like when there's a player who like has a ball, like it should be a pick, but they drop it, and you can't be like, "Oh, the coordinator, he sucked that day." Like, no, he put that dude in the right position, but he dropped it. And I'm pro player more than I am pro coach. I'm just saying, it's like it goes both ways, and I'm not defending Joe Barry because we need to get his best this year, and like That's all I
Yeah,
gotta say
and
about
I
that.
just got one thing to say, Joe. Joe, if you're watching the show right now, Joe Barry, stop going into zone on third down, my man. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah,
It didn't work any of those weeks. Please just man up. Get up there,
dude, and
Make
then
these guys beat you.
that's what I do in Madden every day, every play. Man, I get beat sometimes. I ain't gonna lie to you,
you,
but
you know, you're gonna lose some of them, but you win a lot of them, right?
no,
Like we're, like
I like that aggressive Al Harris
yeah.
type of play. Al
And
Harris,
again,
you
like
got a penalty in the Pro Bowl for pressing. Al Harris, Al Harris,
I miss
bro.
Al Harris, man. He was, him and Woodson were, they were just my favorite guys back
I
there, man.
wish
They were
they could
just,
have had more years of that because Al
I
Harris was,
know
and
that was so fun.
even Ocho Cinco back in the day talking about Al Harris. Like I remember him in an interview. Like Al Harris is the real deal. Like, Al Harris, because Al Harris didn't get the respect that he should have got
No, he didn't.
at that time. He never. I mean, he got a little bit of respect, but he didn't get the respect he just due. But anyways, I want to talk about you, Ron, for a little bit before we cut out of this thing.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so you're a firefighter.
Yep.
All right, so what's that like? Because I work at a cheese factory, right? If fire starts, I run out the building. I actually my cheese factory started on fire in 1996 before I worked there. I was still in high school, but it like burned down or whatever, and then now it's a cheese factory again. But what's that like? Like doing that job? Like I to me it's like it's craziness. So give us a little insight.
I mean, so I love my job. Like if you talk to any firefighter out there that does it, they all say it's the greatest job in the world. Because you get to help people every day. I love it. You go to work and you never know what you're gonna get. Some days you'll get a rip roaring fire. Some days you'll be dealing with a lot of medical stuff. Some days you'll just be dealing with a snowstorm and a lot of car wrecks. Like you have no idea what you're gonna get. I think that's part of what makes it interesting, right? Like it's not when you're going to go in and you say, I have to fill out this many TPS reports and sit behind a desk all day. Like you're out there either training or you're out, you're putting in work. So,
Yeah.
And again, like I love it. It's a great job. It's demanding. It's demanding physically. It's demanding mentally. Like you have to always try to be on your best and stay sharp. But yeah, it's, I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I love my job and it gives me the opportunity to coach my kids' hockey team and baseball team and be there at a lot of stuff that people that work regular 9-to-5 jobs can't do all the time. And that's kind of one of the things that made it attractive to me was like, hey, you get some of these days off over here. You can go shopping when it's not busy, or you can get all your stuff that you need to get done during the day. And, then you're good. Right. So, yeah, I love it. We have a hockey team. We just had a tournament with a bunch of local fire departments around. That was a lot of fun. It's good to see people that hockey for us is a way to stay in shape and a way to kind of hang out with the boys and stuff. And we have girls that play too. We have one of our goalies. She's got a national title for University of Minnesota. Like she's out there quite a bit. Shout out to Shy.
No, like I think I'm not close to being a firefighter, but like my one heroic moment one time, I was like 23 or so. There was a kid stuck in a tree, but like it was a big kid. It was like a 12-year-old big kid, and they got stuck in a tree, and they were scared to get out. And like I was like, all right, I'll go up there. And they're like, hey man, go up there, and get her out. And I was like, I don't know how to like get someone out of a tree. Like so I went up there and just like talked to her, like get her to climb out, but she was scared. So I actually had to pick her up, and I had to climb down with her. And I was like, I couldn't do it now physically, but like I carried this person all the way down the tree. And like they didn't break any bones. I was like,
that's a save, man. There you go.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's the only one. I remember one time we had a fire in our apartment. Me and my wife. We this before we had kids, and we were like the oldest, or like the youngest people who lived in this apartment building. Like the owner or the manager was like 90 years old. He had a tank. I used to help him. I shovel the sidewalk, do the garbage, whatever. Help him out with like maintenance type of stuff, not fixing stuff because I don't know how to fix stuff, but just being like his guy.
Yeah.
And then someone had a fire in an apartment and they come get me. They're like, hey, there's a fire. And I was like, all right, call the fire department. Like, what do you want me to do about it? You know what I mean? And then They're like, yeah, we did, but like you know, come with us. So I go up there and they take me to the door and like I'm in charge now. And I tap the doorknob. You know, they teach you that in like fourth grade.
See
Tap
if
the
it's hot.
doorknob, and it wasn't hot, but it wasn't cold. And I was like, something's going on the other side of that door. And I was like, and they're like, open it, open it. So then I open the door and like just a bunch of black smoke comes out, and I shut the door. And they're like, someone's in there. And I was like, pray for him, bro. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not climbing in there. He ended up being okay. The fire department came. It was just something was left on the stove. I think he had a few too many beers or something else. But
That happens.
but
That
like,
happens.
that's when I knew. I mean, I never thought I was being a firefighter before that. But after that, I definitely wasn't, because I saw the black smoke and I was like, no, I don't run into stuff like that. Like,
Well, I
but
mean, you
anyways.
know, we have our gear and stuff, right? So
Oh
that's
yeah,
part of
I
the
didn't have
deal.
no gear. Otherwise, I probably would have.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, I'm not going in there with nothing on either, man. I'm not trying to get burned up, man. Like,
That wasn't even actually a fire. It was just like more of smoke. You know. How
that's
that
what a
goes.
lot of them are too. But I mean, that
Yeah.
could take you out just as quick too. You
Oh
know, get all the
yeah. I
oxygen out of
wasn't.
there, and you're just in the same spot, right? So, yeah, it's interesting. You know, a lot of this stuff. Everybody's got their like boogeymans and stuff they talk about, right? Like some people don't like small spaces, some people don't like the heights, some people don't like whatever. A lot of that stuff you go through in the academies that have been on, like and you train a lot of that out of there, right? You get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
You learn how to deal with all that stuff. And that's a big part of doing the job is you learn what you go farther than you think you would have been able to go before you started the academy. And then after that, you're like, oh, well, I've done this before. And it becomes, I won't say normal, but it becomes a little bit easier to handle for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Like
like achievable.
everybody's got their stuff. Everybody's got their stuff, right?
I
It's
have
not,
so many
you know,
things. I'm afraid of everything. But
yeah,
no,
it's, you know,
I think it's a cool job. I mean, I used to watch Rescue Me. Have you ever watched Rescue Me, the TV show?
yeah, everybody always brings that one up. It was entertaining for a while.
No, like, it's it's a wild show. I think the show is so good because he's so crazy. What's his face? I haven't watched that one yet. But let me ask you this, because I want to ask you this before we get out of here. I was thinking about this earlier. What are your top 5 TV shows? Like not sitcoms, right? Like the Sopranos, Breaking Bad type of shows, like the dramas, like, whatever. Do you have like can you spiral off a top 5?
Oh, you mean just like a general or like related to like firefighting? Because some of those are really bad.
Just in general, just your type of TV shows.
So again, like Rescue Me was one of them. Except for those middle seasons got kind of weird.
Yeah, you got weird.
They were playing a lot of the drama up and stuff on there.
Yeah.
So, but I loved in general like the first like 3 seasons, ish were pretty good, and then that last season was awesome. Like that was those last few episodes where they really ramped it up and everything. I thought that was great. I'm trying to think of what other TV shows that I really kind of watched. I mean, I'm usually watching sports, so that's kind of there's always something on, even if you got to watch 2 a.m. cricket, but I don't watch that. I'm just kidding. But so there was that one. Game of Thrones was one of my big ones back in the day. That was a good one. I'm trying to think what else. If you're talking about like miniseries, like Chernobyl, that was one they did on, I can't remember if it's Showtime or HBO, but that 6-part miniseries was really awesome. Band of Brothers.
Okay.
Band of Brothers was fantastic. I thought they did a really good job with that one. Let's see one more. The Americans. The Americans, that might be number 2. I love that show.
You got a wild list. I like that because like most of the stuff I never even heard of.
The Americans is a great. If you haven't seen it, it's a long series, but it's great.
I probably will check that out because I am thirsty for like new shows to watch. No, but like I have like I was thinking about because I'm watching Lost right now. You ever watch Lost?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yep.
I've watched Lost 6 times, like fully through, right? Because every time I did, my wife counted because she hates the show, and my kids are like, "Oh my god, he's watching Lost again." But I'm watching Lost again. Like I didn't even like before we were recording. I was downstairs watching Lost, but now I'm fast forwarding through like the back flashes because I already know their backstory. I don't need to hear.
Oh
that. Yeah. I this is not my first rodeo. No, but like my favorite show of all time, like. It's tough between The top three I say is Sopranos, Breaking Bad, and Lost. And I know Lost is different because Lost is so different. Like it's so
Yeah.
like it's not the same as like Breaking Bad, and it's not like a realistic story. It's just like, but it's just so like there's so much going on in Lost. And I feel like
Yeah.
it's just like so extra that like it almost, I don't know. It might, and it's the only show I can watch over and over and over again. Like I'm not watching Breaking Bad. I could watch Breaking Bad again. And Sopranos I think is like probably like I don't know, probably my number one, Sopranos, and then like number two, probably have to go Breaking Bad. Three, Lost. Even though I watched Lost probably more times than any of them, but I feel like I don't know if I can give them the number one spot. You know what I mean? And that might change. And then like Sons of Anarchy.
That's good. That was a good show too. That was a good show on FX.
Very good show. And then Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is ridiculous. And I don't even know how I put because I feel like all these are top fives. Actually, I probably put Game of Thrones above Sons of Anarchy, and I love Sons of Anarchy. Was so good.
Yeah, that's a great show.
Because like those shows are like that are just so suspenseful. Like when you get done watching, you got to work in the morning, and you're like binging it, and then it's like the cliffhanger. Like, oh, bro, I guess we're gonna be tired tomorrow. You know, what I mean? That's what's gonna happen. But that is my top five. I don't know. That could change at any moment, but there's good shows. But anyways. Yeah, this comment was from probably earlier, but Ella Harris was underrated, and that's from a Vikings fan. Billy Frank in the building. What's up, Billy? He's probably not watching anymore. But oh yeah, Yellow Jackets, dude. We're talking about TV shows. Dude, I started watching Yellow Jackets. My wife did, and that's what actually got me into Lost again, because it's the same kind of situation, plane crash, but also I think they might have been eating each other. And like doing, and they're like dressed up and like weird because they kind of flash forward. You don't really see what's going on, but there's like and they're kids. It was like a sports team. It was like I think a soccer team. The girls like it was like a championship team, and they're playing crashes. They're all types. I saw one where like I saw one episode right, and this girl was in a plane, it just crashed, and they're like everyone's trying to get out, and they're like, no, we got to stop, save Lindsay or whatever her name was, and then they're like trying to help her, and then the fire's getting hotter and hotter, like, sorry, we can't help you, oh my goodness, and then they run away, right? And then like later in the episode, she just walks by and she's like, yeah, I made it, I guess. And then she was kind of like, screw you guys, left me there to die. And it's a fake show, so I can laugh about it, but I was like, you can't just let that go. Like,
right? No,
come back. You left her to die, and she's like, "I made it." Like all like snarky, like a teenage kid would say. But I'm like, no, this is not school stuff. Like they left you to burn alive. I mean, I would have too. So at some point, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? The buckle gets stuck. What are you gonna do? I'm not dying with you. Anyways,
buckle, man.
It is. It's a wild show. Yellow Jackets. I'll probably watch more. I think I watched like the first couple episodes with my wife, but I could do a whole podcast just talking about TV. I love like so much TV shows. It's a good time. Anyways, we got Ron Talk Sports. You can follow him on Facebook, Ron Talk Sports. Are you also on YouTube and all the places?
So Twitter and I do have a YouTube channel, but I only post sometimes on there. So I'm mostly Facebook and then Twitter. Now I'm gonna start ramping those two up. So.
Yeah. You're on the old Twitter, Ron Talk Sports. My guy, thanks for taking time. I didn't give you no warning. I'm like, hey, you want to talk some football tonight? Get on here and do some stuff. I think this football season, we should do a lot more stuff. You obviously know what you're talking about. You're fun to talk to. And I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a little buzzed up. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Buzzed up. Buy the hat at Matt Ramage store.
You know what I mean? Buy the hat. Matt Ramage, themattramage.com. You can get yourself a buzzed up hat. And if you think you're buzzed up, and then you're like, am I buzzed up? And you look in the mirror, you're not wearing this hat. You are not. You know what I mean?
True story.
I appreciate y'all joining us tonight. All right. What's up, Phil, in the comments section? Been here the whole day. I appreciate you. And everyone listening. And if you're not listening, be sure to subscribe to the Matt Ramage Show on the podcast. Very soon, I'm going to have Rudy Ford, safety for the Green Bay Packers, is going to be joining the podcast. Actually, while we were doing this show, he actually DM'd me on Instagram because we've been trying to hash at the times, but he's a busy guy.
Perfect.
I'm not as much, but Rudy Ford will be on the podcast, and then I think Alex Green eventually. I'll probably get him on there, and I'm gonna try to get some other players, maybe some foreign players, but and just cool Packer fans. We're gonna do some stuff this offseason. You know what I mean? But big shout out to Ron. Ron Talk Sports. Follow him on Facebook, all the places. Go Pack, go people. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube and on the podcast. And that's all I have to yell about.